Welcome into Extra Time. Thank you very much for your tweets. Stevie Nicol here, and Gab Marcotti on his wedding anniversary. He's missing out on an evening with his wife to celebrate 16 years of marriage, to spend it with us, Gab. What a moment. And it starts off with an insulting tweet against you. Who advised Gab to wear that baseball cap? That was, of course, on your podcast, Gab. It has received quite a few critics.
Well, if you really must know the backstory behind it, it was the fact that I was up extremely late the night before. It was the fact that Julien Laurens was extremely late in sending me some things I needed to do for the podcast. And so therefore, I didn't have the opportunity to shower. And because we were on day 72 of the lockdown, you know what? Hair grows, and hair grows big. And so I decided, let me go and cover it up with a vintage, I think it was my Metro Stars baseball cap. But then, of course, I took it off because our guest, Thomas Delaney, his hair has also grown during the lockdown. And by the way, in case you wonder, no, I'm not going to let a family member go and cut my hair. That would be unprofessional.
Stevie, meanwhile, has sorted his hair out a little bit.
Hold on. Hey, hold on a minute. Why would you not just stick your head under the tap? You don't have to have a full bloody shower. Stick your head under the tap.
Because my head doesn't fit in the sink under the tap. I don't know how big your taps are in your house, but my sinks aren't big enough. I can't insert my head under the tap and open it.
Have you got a shower?
Yes. In fact, I have multiple showers.
Well, stick your head under the shower for 10 seconds. That's all you got to do. Instead of making yourself look daft.
Meanwhile, Stevie, your hair seems to have sorted out. Someone described you as the Ginger Fonz with that kind of slick back look.
I'll tell you what, I've got to be happy with that, considering some of the other stuff I've been called.
Well, anything is an improvement. Right, let's get on with some questions, shall we? With the Bundesliga set to finish in June, will Bayern and Leipzig be at a disadvantage for the Champions League set to begin in August? They will be idle for a month, especially considering La Liga, Serie A and the Premier League not concluding their campaign till late July, Stevie.
100%. You know, if all the other sides will be in the middle of a regular game, then there's no way that it's not going to affect Bayern and Leipzig. They will again go back to being rusty because they won't have had any real competition, whereas the other sides, they'll be in the middle of competition and we'll be ready to put up a good showing in a Champions League game regardless of the opposition. So yeah, no question, the German sides will certainly not benefit from a break.
Gab, does the fact that Conte is willing to sell both Mauro Icardi and Lautaro Martinez prove just how good a striker Lukaku actually is?
Sorry, who said he's willing to sell Lautaro Martinez? Who? Apart from
Simon does.
Barcelona. The man has a release clause in his contract. The club have said, we don't want to sell him, and the only way you sell him is if you can match his release clause, and then there's nothing we can do about it, and he decides he wants to go. He does not want to sell Lautaro Martinez. He would love to sell Mauro Icardi, yeah. But I know the question's really about Lukaku, so I will answer that. Conte absolutely loves Lukaku. He loves his movement. He loves his intelligence. He loves the fact that he does exactly what Conte asks of him, which is what Conte generally demands from his strikers. So no, I mean, I think Lukaku's been phenomenal this season, not just on the pitch, off it as well, and he's been a tremendous asset to Inter. And I think probably, playing some of the best football of his career.
Take that, Stevie.
Yeah, great. Aye, well done, Lukaku. Hey, good on you, son. Magic, hey. Yeah. All the big sides are in the corner waiting to sign you again. Not.
Gab, who was better in their prime, Cafu or Zanetti?
Ooh. I mean, I think Javier Zanetti, I would lean towards him because I think he was a better rounded player. Obviously, he's also, he played right back, he played left back, he played in midfield. He's had many more things going on. For a one-off game, I mean, the way Cafu would just take off and accelerate up the sideline was just absolutely stunning. And so I'm sitting on the fence here a little bit. I will lean Zanetti, but only just. Two phenomenal right backs.
Stephen?
Listen, if you've got to put your mortgage on it, or you've got to put your life on any of the two of them, you're putting it on Zanetti. Yes, Cafu could be devastating in spells, but the more rounded player and the guy you're going to have, the guy who's going to be more consistent over a period of time, absolutely is going to be Zanetti.
Right, let's get to the big talking point. Today is Biscuit Day. For those in America, a biscuit is a cookie, not a scone. Have either of you had an Aussie biscuit called a Tim Tam? And what is your favourite biscuit? Gab?
I don't particularly have a favourite biscuit. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but if you are going to push me, there are these Italian biscuits called baci di dama, which are they're basically they're kind of like, there's like a layer of chocolate in between, and one side is chocolate and the other side is, I guess, not chocolate. And yes, they're exquisite when properly done.
Right, Stevie, biscuits.
Biscuits, yeah. Never had a Tim Tam, never even heard of them till you said. I like a chocolate biscuit. In fact, just before I came on here, I had a cup of tea and 2 chocolate digestives, which, as you know, Dan, are beautiful. You just get them and you dip them in your tea and then you get onto it. But that's not my most favourite. Right now, my favourite is an orange Kit Kat. Absolutely dynamite.
Well, it's not a biscuit, is it? That's a chocolate bar.
A Kit Kat? No, it's not. It's a chocolate biscuit.
Yeah, but it's not a biscuit.
Says the man. Hold on. Says the man trying to tell American viewers that it's a biscuit. It's not a cookie or a scone.
Oh, I didn't read. I was just reading the tweet. I was reading Peter's tweet.
Right.
I'm not patronising the Americans. I was just reading the tweet verbatim. That's all I am as a parrot. And you cannot claim a Kit Kat is a biscuit.
Of course it's a biscuit. What is it then?
It's a candy bar. It's candy.
It's not a candy. Listen to you, candy. You mean a chocolate bar?
What? Yes, it's not a.
It's a chocolate. It is a chocolate biscuit. I'll tell you what then. What's an orange club then? Is that a candy bar as well?
And what is a what? Sorry.
An orange club. What's that?
An orange club's a chocolate bar.
Oh, shut up.
If I may weigh in here, Dan.
I'll tell you what.
Yes, Gab.
A biscuit.
If the majority of the bar
chocolate
is chocolate, then it's a chocolate bar. If the majority of the bar is biscuit, as is the case with an orange club bar, or indeed, arguably with a Kit Kat, given the wafer component, then I can see where Stevie's coming from.
Here, Gab. I couldn't have put it any better myself. Take that. Stick that in your pipe.
Oh, you needed Gab to hold your hand and complete your argument.
I was actually just going to say that.
Yeah, of
a
course.
chocolate bar is something that's just completely chocolate. Other than that, it's a biscuit.
It's a candy.
Candy. How long have you been here? 10 minutes.
Gab, do you really think Messi and Argentina have a chance to win the World Cup in 2022 in Qatar? Please reply, Dan. I'm on my knees, man. We can get up now. Gab's going to reply.
Of course they have a chance. I mean, imagine Messi with Lautaro Martinez up front, his teammate from Barcelona. No, just kidding. Yeah, look, people need to realize that to get to a World Cup final, to have a chance to win it, you have to get hot at the right time. It helps if you have superstars. It's not always the most dominant team. If you look at the phenomenal job Croatia did in reaching the World Cup final in Russia, you can see that how many actual super Messi caliber superstars did they have? None. How many notch below Messi superstars did they have? They had a couple, obviously Modric and Rakitic didn't have the best of tournaments, but you had very good players who could form a supporting cast, and they all came together, and some of the less great players played out of their skin, and that's how they got into the final, and they had great coaching and whatever. I see no reason why Argentina, who we would reasonably expect to be deeper than Croatia, can't do the same thing, get to the final and win it. So yes, don't worry. I mean, I'm not going to say they're favorites, but there's no reason that Argentina can't win it.
Who's more choosy when it comes to food, Gab or Stevie? Stevie, you'd admit, I believe this is your area.
I will bow down to Gab's superior knowledge and taste buds. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Stevie, how does Michael Owen compare to recent Liverpool strikers Torres, Suarez and Firmino? Who would you start with as your number 9 in their prime?
I'd say Torres in his prime takes a bit of beating. Wow. Ooh. I'm trying to think if I would take any of the other ones over Torres at his best, and I'm kind of struggling with that. I mean, no, I would take Torres. Yeah, absolutely. I would go with Torres.
Gab, who would you have out of that list at their prime?
I mean, prime Luis Suarez took some beating as well. For me, that is pretty much the call. I think you probably would go. You would go with Suarez, sort of best season Suarez, provided he doesn't go and bite anybody. I think he's probably a better rounded player than Prime Torres, as devastating as Prime Torres was and as devastating as Prime Michael Owen was. With Firmino, obviously you get into a totally different galaxy in terms of, he's not a scorer in the way the other guys were, but he does a lot of other things. If the question were, and I appreciate it's not, if you could have any of those guys in their prime and you could drop them into Jurgen Klopp's team, who would you choose? You know what? You might still go with Firmino because of what he does and his importance to the team. But if you're talking as an abstract, as a one-off, for me, yeah, I think Suarez would just shade it over Torres.
Why does the show have such a hard time praising Cristiano Ronaldo, Stevie?
We've had this question before, and I'm not quite sure why that perception is there, because every time we're talking about Champions League games and every time we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, we all say the same thing. On the big stage, when it matters most, this guy rises above everybody else. I mean, I don't really understand where the negativity comes from. We all realise how fantastic he is. We all suggest that the two best players in the planet, and he's one of them. The argument is always, is it Messi or is it Ronaldo? So the fact that we're saying he's, and we all have a different opinion of who's one and who's two, but the fact that we're saying at the very worst, this guy's the second best player on the planet, how was that being negative towards him? I don't remember being negative towards him as far as a football player's concerned. Listen, we've certainly criticised him, when he was at Real Madrid, how it always seemed to be about him. But that's kind of an attitude we're talking about sometimes. As far as a footballer's concerned, no, not at all. He's absolutely fantastic. So Stevie, turn that absolutely fantastic. Turn that one into a negative.
Steve, that was a very long answer for what was a ridiculous tweet in the first place.
Well, I know, but we seem to get it quite a lot, though, which I find strange. It's actually quite annoying because look at all the nice things I just said about him.
Okay, let's move. Right, final question. Last night, I had an Italian-style shepherd's pie made with polenta instead of potatoes and filled with mince and wild mushrooms. What are Stevie and Gab's thoughts on such a fusion of cuisines? Gab, what do you think of that?
Hey, I'm all for fusion. I'm all for taking basic concepts like a shepherd's pie and maybe fiddling with the ingredients. If you have high quality, fresh, local mushrooms, if you if you like polenta, and I appreciate it's an acquired taste, you know, why not? Go out and see if it works. I really have no problem with that because, you know, a lot of times if you have high quality, fresh ingredients, that kind of matters more than having the original ingredients if they're lower quality.
Stevie, I'm sure you're about to say the same.
Absolute nonsense. Well, that's a mongrel shepherd's pie. That's what that is. Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. How about that?
That's it, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Happy anniversary, Gab. Enjoy the rest of it, however long you have left. Not the marriage, the anniversary. And thank you very much to Stevie. ESPN FC back on your screens tomorrow. Be sure to join us. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.